Hey, thanks for clicking on the first ever Scavenger Showcase, where I scrounge up cool games so you don't have to. If you're watching this video, you're very likely well aware of the big hitters coming out this year. Titles like Zelda, Final Fantasy, Starfield, Spider-Man. And if you're like me, you're gonna wanna play the hell out of them. But if you're looking for more, something a little different, something else, a game to scratch that itch you just can't quite reach, well, here are a few titles you might wanna watch out for. Let's get into it, y'all. Sea of Stars releases this fall on August 29th across all platforms. This is the sophomore title from Sabotage Studio, the team that previously delivered on the very well-received action platformer, The Messenger. The studio has stated that the self-published Sea of Stars will be a prequel, but the gameplay is going to be totally different. Where The Messenger played like an old-school Ninja Gaiden style game, this new title looks to pay homage to the turn-based JRPGs of the 90s. There is a demo available, but as of yet, it's only on the Nintendo Switch. If you have one, I recommend checking it out. I do, and I did, and I loved it. The humor from The Messenger seems to be very much present. The pixel art is downright gorgeous, and the music pulls you in from the start. The most exciting thing I took away from the demo to me were the additions and tweaks made to traditional turn-based combat. Much like Chained Echoes earlier this year, Sea of Stars looks to add a new spin on classic mechanics. There are timed hits to increase damage, bringing a feeling of presence and immediacy, without detracting from the thoughtful tactical decision-making that's a hallmark of the turn-based genre. You also have multiple character combos you can set up, and there's a system of matching attack types to weaken enemies, which reminded me a little of breaking an opponent in the Octopath Traveler series. All in all, Sea of Stars is looking to be an awesome experience. Hoo boy, Alan Wake 2. From the original developer, Remedy Entertainment, and this time around published by Epic Games, Alan Wake 2 appears to still be on track for a 2023 release, according to a blog update this month from Remedy. Now, the first Alan Wake is one of my all-time favorite video game narratives, and I cannot wait to continue the misadventures of gaming's greatest novelist. Even after the game's creative director, Sam Lake, said this at the 2021 Game Awards.
This is going to be Remedy's first ever survival horror game.
Ooh,
Our take on the genre.
Yeah.
The first game had horror elements to it, but it was an action game.
Yeah.
And we feel that this is the perfect genre to bring together the story and gameplay closer than ever before. Because the story, horror story, is at the very heart of this, and it's psychological, layered, deep mystery to dive in.
As a grown man with an overactive imagination, I took that personally, because I thought the original Alan Wake was creepy enough, thank you very much. Looks like I'll be playing with the lights on, but I will be playing. Because this might be the only title on this list that I will be openly and unashamedly fanboying over. If you're a fan of the original or the Connected Control franchise, or you just like damn good storytelling in your video games, watch out for this one. Pacific Drive came roaring into view for me back in September at a Sony State of Play. The title, developed and published by Ironwood Studios, is a run-based driving survival adventure. This is the studio's debut title, and it looks like they are swinging for the fences with a very creative project. From your base in an old garage, you'll customize your station wagon, tricking it out towards the goal of exploring and researching the mysterious Olympic Exclusion Zone, an altered version of the Pacific Northwest. The unique presentation, the run-based gameplay, and the promise of a dangerous and ever-changing environment, this is looking like a Jeff-ass game. I look forward to finally getting the chance to buckle up for this ride, and I will not apologize for that pun. In my estimation, Pacific Drive cannot arrive soon enough. Angerfoot is slated for a 2023 release, but no specific date is yet set. So far, it looks to only be on PC, and there is a demo currently available on Steam, which I checked out. The game is being published by Devolver Digital and comes from developer Free Lives, whose previous work included the recently released Terra Nil and Broforce. I've not yet played any of their older titles, but Angerfoot certainly grabbed my attention, and after my short stint with the game's demo, I can say this game is going to fascinate and frustrate the hell out of me. It's a one-hit and you're dead user bruiser, and I had a blast playing through the first handful of levels. It wears its Hotline Miami influence out in the open. So much so that according to The Verge, the working title was Hotline Amsterdam. However, while the beats are bumping and the kicks are thumping, the only thing pixelated here is the potty humor. I look forward to rage quitting later this year. The fifth release and first ever sequel from Supergiant Games almost didn't make this list because It's only coming to PC through early access, and it's only a maybe that it will even arrive inside the calendar year, but I'm jamming it in here as part of my campaign to will it into existence as soon as possible. Supergiant, if you need anything, I got you, baby. I'm a huge fan of their previous work. Hades was awesome, Bastion was amazing, and Transistor, well, do you remember earlier when I said Alan Wake was the only thing I'd be fanboying over? Well, I lied, because Transistor is an incredible experience, one that I wish I could play for the first time a second time. But enough about the past. Hades 2 is the future, and I think it'll do just fine, because Supergiant don't miss. Unless Pyre sucks. I haven't played that one, but I doubt it. Anyway, I usually avoid games in early access in the same way I don't stumble into a restaurant's kitchen and just start shoveling raw chicken into my mouth, but I'll likely make an exception for Melano, immortal princess of the underworld, and her attempts to defeat the forces of the Titan of Time. Oh yeah, I am chomping at the bit for this one. So I saved the final two for last because on Steam, the release dates for both are listed to be announced, but according to Xbox, they're coming in 2023. So let's hope for the best. Up first of the will they won't they releases is Ereban Shadow Legacy, which first popped up on my radar at last year's Xbox Summer Showcase, and I've been quietly looking forward to it ever since. Published by Raw Fury and developed by Baby Robot Games, a self-described young indie studio, Ereban is a sci-fi stealth platformer, and I like every single one of those words, especially when strung in that order. To quote the description on the game's Steam page, you become Ayana, the last descendant of a forgotten race, harness mystical shadow powers, high-tech gadgets, and avoid or kill to uncover the truth about your past, and the key to saving a dying, morally gray universe. You had me at forgotten race, and mystical shadow powers really sent me over the edge, and the rest was a blissful blur. Let's hope this stealth title delivers. And finally, Eiyuden Chrinicle 100 Heroes is coming from developer Rabbit and Bear Studios and being published by 505 Games. Rabbit and Bear Studios was created by former developers of the Suikoden series, and Eiyuden looks to be the spiritual successor of the franchise. A prequel, Eiyuden Chronicle Rising, was released last year to mixed reception, though its gameplay and scope seems to have been markedly less complex. To be honest, I'm not familiar with the Suikoden series, but the visual presentation alone has caught my interest, and I'm cautiously optimistic this could be a compelling title. I can't say this would be a day one for me at full price, but Game Pass inclusion almost guarantees I'll be giving it a test drive. Fingers crossed for something excellent. And that's it. Those are the titles that I'm most excited for, other than the big hitters I mentioned at the top of this video. If you're pumped for any of those, or you're excited about a game that you think I should have mentioned, I'd love to hear about it in the comments. But if you enjoyed this video, please hit the like button, consider subscribing, and or checking out my live news show every Sunday at 6 Central, where we discuss the latest and greatest in gaming news. And yeah, that really is it though. I'm gonna go.